Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of WiscoCardKid. On this episode, I'm contemplating, is it time to make a pivot from PSA? Do I look for higher grading cards? Do I switch companies? What I think is my next role if I want to keep flipping cards. I'll give a little brief introduction of myself, who I am, how we got started, and what I'm thinking about going forward. So, whatever streaming device you're using to listen to this on, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. All right, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it on Wisco Card Kid. So, I'm the channel's Wisco Card Kid. I guess I'm actually Wisco Card Kid Dad. That the channel started from my son, who is now 12 years old, started probably 2 or 3 years ago. He wanted to start a channel after he was watching people rip open packs and boxes and stuff like that. So started the channel Wisco Card Kid. So if you go back way early in the channel, there's a bunch of videos of my son Carter ripping packs and boxes and stuff like that. And so my name is Matt. I am a fourth grade elementary school teacher who my son got me back into the hobby and love of cards. And some of my background is I grew up avid sports fan, grew up in Wisconsin outside Green Bay. So if anyone knows anything about Green Bay Packer fans are crazy and insane. And for that purpose, one of the things in life is I've never really liked obsessed fans, and that just turned me off of teams. So actually, I grew up not being a Packers fan. I was an Oakland Raiders fan when they had Jeff Hostetler, Tim Brown, Marcus Allen, all those guys. And it wasn't probably until I left for college when I went away from the area and actually then realized how cool it was as a Packer fan and stuff, and that I really became a big Packers fan. But I am through and through a Wisconsin sports fan, especially nowadays. I mean, the Brewers are playing pretty hot right now, so how can you not like the Brewers and what they're doing? Badgers, the Bucks organization is a mess right now, but they've been pretty good the last couple of years with Giannis and stuff. And Wisconsin Badgers fans. So I collected football cards growing up every year for Christmas. My parents got me the Upper Deck set, and like a lot of people in the hobby, I got pulled back in for my son over COVID. Just one day he asked if he could look through my cards, and I was like, sure. And then, hey, is this something you would be interested in collecting and everything? And he said yes, and never looked back. He wanted to start a YouTube channel on ripping open packs and stuff. So I was like, cool, yeah, I can set up a YouTube channel. And kind of over the years, he's too cool to be on camera now. That and the last Bowman blasters we opened, he opened it, but I had to go through his cards afterwards because he didn't want to. I don't know if it not cool to be on camera or whatever and stuff. So I was like, hey, that's kind of a cool thing. And I watch people on here do this, and I was like, oh, that's something that, hobby I would like to do and put out there and stuff. So just sharing my journey and everything. So it's kind of how the channel got started and what it's evolved to. And if I can share things I've learned, like I said, I'm a fourth grade teacher. I run a card club at school for kids who are into any kind of cards, sports cards, TCG cards, Pokemon. For the life of me, I have tried to have students teach me about Pokemon, and I just do not understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand how to tell the value of a Pokemon card. At least with athletes, you know who the athletes are and you know rookie cards and whatever, but Pokemon, I just don't get it. And I think they're cool. I think they're amazing, but it's just one of those avenues I don't understand. Um, and I let students throughout class for assignments they turn in, they can earn points, gold pieces, and they can buy sports cards like some of the base or other sports cards they can buy. I have boxes of sports cards in my classrooms, and some younger kids that just walk down the hallway ask if they can stop in and look at the sports cards or take a sports cards. I'm like, sure, go for it. So kids kind of known for the sports cards within the school. So that's kind of my journey as to where I am in sports cards and how I got started. And when I got started back into sports cards, I was like, oh, sports cards. Yeah, that's cool. You got Upper Deck. Well, that was extremely wrong because Upper Deck doesn't even make basketball, football, baseball cards anymore. They're pretty much hockey. And then you got Panini and you got the Prism, you got the Contenders, you got this and that. And I was like, whew, very overwhelmed by the sets you should be buying and not, and spent a lot of money trying to learn and figure things out. So I was like, hey, let me put some content out here. One, it's a hobby. I enjoy doing it. It's fun. So I'm not really in it for the views or anything like that. Just trying to share my journey. And if people get advice or pointers and takeaways from it, great. But I figure I'm going to do it regardless because it's something it's fun and I enjoy doing. So, um, what with the news for PSA, I'm really been kind of taken back and figuring it. And at first I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to stop grading. I'm going to try to wait till PSA catches up and get the grading. But it was like, I just got caught up where I was finally in like the 3 to 4 month window where every month I'd send a handful of cards out while I was getting cards back. And it was finally like I was in that 4 month cycle of caught up. And as I was sending cards out, I was getting them back and I could turn and flip and make money and do that. And then I was like, oh man, now PSA's shut down. So now I'm going to have to start this all over. But I think what I'm going to try doing, about a year or two ago, I put my first submission to SGC. And when I was doing that, I was like, I know PSA, you get the premium dollar and you get the most money for the resale purpose. But I was kind of going back and forth. I like the black tuxedo of the SGC look for my PC collection, but I've always kind of liked Beckett. And I know Beckett kind of specializes in more of the vintage cards and does better job. Like people recommend sending older vintage cards to Beckett. And I really like that Beckett gives you the subgrades. So you know exactly where your card went wrong or what you did. And for like research purposes, when you're learning and new of trying to send cards in instead of just getting a PSA 8 or a PSA 9 and be like, what is wrong with the card? At least you can look at the subgrades on Beckett and you can figure out where you went wrong. So I think what I'm going to try doing for the next maybe 2-3 months until PSA gets their act back on track, I think I'm going to submit to Beckett and get subgrades on cards, because even if I don't get premium dollar, I can still learn a lot along the way as far as when I'm looking cards over, what area am I missing on? So I'm going to switch over to a different camera view and kind of go over the Beckett pricing system here. All right, so here we are now on the Beckett website, and this is another one of the reasons why. So PSA, I was charging $26 a card, and for Beckett, it's $15 a card. Okay, $3 upcharge if you're any tens or subgrade, and then it's $18 a card if you want subgrades. Now we're still looking at the 75 business day turnaround, which is where PSA was at. So, I mean, you're still looking at a 3 to 4 month, probably closer to 4 month turnaround business days. I don't think with the cards I'm sending in, it's not worth or going to pay to do the $35 tier for 45 business days. So, and then the other thing I was thinking of is like you can just pay like, and I was just thinking like $15 to have a card slabbed and stuff. Like last year, I took my son to a Wisconsin Timber Rattlers game and got Jesus Mate, Luis Pena's autograph, and some of those. And I was thinking, I'm like, $15 to just, I don't even care what the grade is, but just to have it authenticated and slabbed so nothing will happen to that card, I think would be worth it. So, like thinking and doing, I was paying for, um, let's just see, I'm going to do some calculations here that, let's say for 5 cards at PSA for $26, that's $130. And then for 5 cards at $18 in Beckett, that's $90. So the one caveat that I found out is, so I submitted a handful of cards yesterday that Beckett charges like $28 for return shipping. So I dropped the cards off at the post office. I think it was $8 shipping to get them out. And then Beckett charges $28 to ship them back. So all in all, I think, because when I would submit to PSA, I would do it through GameStop, so I wouldn't have a shipping fee and everything else. So that $28 does kick in, but I still am coming out about $15, $20 ahead on the whole transaction, even with that high shipping fee. So I think while we wait for PSA to get their act in order, I'm going to continue just sending and submitting monthly to Beckett and see how my luck with that goes. Because I've always liked Beckett. I'm really hoping, like fingers crossed, knock on wood. I've never been a huge fan of PSA. I know people have their thoughts, opinions, and everything else, but that is up to people to decide what grading company they want to use and everything else. So, all right, let's flip back and um, all right. So I think that's where my head is at. And that way I can keep turning, flipping cards, and we don't have to worry about it. I sent my first order out in the mail yesterday. So we'll see how that goes. I should be getting my next PSA order back any day. I'm waiting for my grades are in. So I'm waiting for when I can go pick them up at GameStop and can turn around, flip and sell those. But that is kind of my thought process. I just want to be able to keep grading cards because I feel like that's where the money, I mean, you can sell raw cards. I mean, you can see my updates, my eBay sales that I sell a couple raw cards a week and lower end cards, a couple dollars here or there and stuff, that just the ones that I have had or collect or whatever that aren't really worth the ones to get graded. But um, so I'll keep doing that, and that kind of pays for the grading fees throughout the month. And then really the profit comes from selling the slabs after they get graded and making the profit on those. So I think all in all, it was like $120 for a 5 card submission to Beckett yesterday. And I sent in Cooper Flags and Con Knipples in hopes of having them back in 4 months by the NBA preseason, which is crazy to think about planning out that far ahead. And one of the other cool things I'm trying to do or consider, I'm going to make a video. So I took pictures of each of the cards, and I'll make a video. This will probably be my next WiscoCardKid video, but showing you the cards that I sent in for grading, and I ran them through Chat GPT just to ask Chat GPT what they thought the grades of the cards would be. And then I'm sending them in and see how Chat GPT grades that it gave them correlates with what Beckett actually graded them. But that video comparing the two won't come out for 3 to 4 months because that is when I will get the cards back. So that's where my thought is at. That's where I think I'm going and going to do and continue. Hopefully it's a good time to continue keep buying cards, and we'll see, and getting ready for the NFL preseason, which is always a lot of fun, and selling cards and getting those cards all ready to be put online and everything else. So that's where we're going as I'm wrapping up the school year. By the time this airs, it will probably be the last day of school. So, and then I'll have summer to kind of get things in order. I don't know, I say that, but summer is always crazy, and especially with kids and a puppy and everything else. So hopefully keep things rolling, and hopefully you guys all have a great rest of your week and Have a wonderful beginning of summer, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks.